October 2018 brought unimaginable darkness to the quiet streets of Barron, Wisconsin. 13-year-old Jayme Closs vanished after a terrifying night that left her small community reeling. A frantic 911 call from her mother ended abruptly. Then, nothing but silence. When authorities arrived, they discovered both of Jayme's parents dead inside their home. The girl was gone without a trace. What followed was an investigation that gripped the entire nation. Evidence pointed towards something deliberate, something planned. For 88 days, the country watched anxiously as investigators pieced together clues that only seemed to deepen the enigma. What could drive someone to shatter a peaceful family in such a tranquil place? And how would a young girl find the strength to break free from her captor? This is the haunting story of Jayme Closs. Jayme Lynn Closs came into the world on July 13, 2005, in Barron, Wisconsin. Her parents, James and Denise Closs, raised her in a modest home nestled in a town of barely 3,400 residents, the kind of place where neighbors knew each other's names. Those who knew Jayme described a bright, warm-hearted girl who loved dancing, spending time with friends, and throwing herself into school activities. James, 56, and Denise, 46, were familiar faces in the community. Both worked steadily at the Jennie-O turkey store, earning respect as devoted, hard-working parents who cherished their only daughter. Neighbors admired how the Closs family kept life simple, centering everything around work, home, and nurturing Jayme's passion. At the time, everything changed. Jayme was in 8th grade at Riverview Middle School. Teachers and classmates knew her as someone who radiated positivity wherever she went. The family's home felt complete with Molly, their beloved dog that Jayme adored. The Closses had no known enemies or conflicts, which made what happened next all the more incomprehensible. Their peaceful existence continued undisturbed until the night of October 15, 2018, when 21-year-old Jayme Patterson arrived at their doorstep carrying a shotgun and a lethal plan. Jake Thomas Patterson was born in Barron but grew up in Gordon, Wisconsin, roughly 70 miles away. He was a loner who struggled to hold down jobs after a brief, unsuccessful stint in the Marine Corps. Following his parents' separation, Patterson moved into a rundown cabin with his father. He had no criminal history, yet he'd been planning this night for weeks. Patterson had driven to the Closs home 3 separate times before, each time intending to abduct 13-year-old Jayme. Each time fear of being spotted made him retreat, but on his 4th attempt, Patterson's resolve hardened. Just before 12:53 a.m., he parked at the end of their driveway to avoid detection. Pulling on a ski mask and dark coat, he approached the house gripping his shotgun. Inside, the family dog started barking, waking Jayme Closs. Concerned and curious, James approached the door and peered through the glass, spotting a shadowy figure outside. Thinking it might be a police officer, James shone his flashlight and asked to see identification. Patterson didn't answer with words. Instead, he barked a single command: "Open the door." James hesitated, sensing danger. Patterson responded by raising his weapon and firing one deafening shot through the glass. James died instantly. Patterson then forced his way inside, where even more horror awaited. What had been a quiet night erupted into chaos as the Closs home became the scene of unspeakable violence that would scar the community forever. The gunshot and shattering glass jolted Denise Closs and Jayme awake. Understanding immediately that something terrible was happening, they ran to the bathroom and locked themselves inside. Denise clutched Jayme tightly, trying desperately to calm her terrified daughter. Jake Patterson entered the house without hesitation. Moving methodically through the rooms, he was intent on eliminating anyone who might identify him. When he reached the locked bathroom, he pounded violently on the door. Each thunderous blow amplified the terror inside. Denise managed to dial 911, but the call lasted only seconds before it cut off. The dispatcher heard shouting and commotion but couldn't decipher the words, leaving them confused about what was unfolding. Patterson then smashed the door down. Inside, Denise and Jayme cowered in terror as he loomed over them, fully armed and in complete control. He ordered Denise to use duct tape to bind Jayme's wrists and ankles. Trembling and pleading, Denise had no choice but to comply. Jayme's eyes reflected pure fear as her mother's shaking hands completed the horrifying task. Without warning, Patterson raised his shotgun and fired at Denise, killing her instantly while Jayme watched. Forced to witness her mother's murder, Jayme's world collapsed. With both parents dead, Patterson dragged Jayme from the house. Bound and gagged, she couldn't scream or resist. He had to carry her carefully across the blood-slicked floor. Just 4 minutes after the 911 call, police arrived at the Closs residence. But Patterson and Jayme had already disappeared. Patterson had pulled to the roadside, allowing police vehicles with screaming sirens to rush past him without suspicion. The officers had no idea the kidnapper and his victim were right there beside them. At the scene, authorities discovered the bodies of Jayme and Denise Closs. The brief 911 call and other evidence confirmed a violent home invasion and abduction. The search for Jayme launched immediately. Patterson had taken her to an isolated cabin in Gordon, Wisconsin, approximately 70 miles from her family's home. The secluded property, surrounded by thick forest, provided the perfect hiding spot. Inside, he forced Jayme to wear his sister's clothing, tightening his psychological grip. Throughout her imprisonment, Patterson dominated every aspect of Jayme's existence. He kept her confined beneath a bed in his room, using storage bins and heavy weights to create makeshift barriers. Jayme was often forced to remain there for extended stretches, sometimes up to 12 hours, without food, water, or bathroom access. Whenever Patterson left, he blasted loud music to mask any noise Jayme might make. When visitors like his father stopped by, he would hide Jayme under the bed and threaten severe consequences if she tried to escape. Patterson believed Jayme's fear would keep her compliant. He maintained absolute control and made it brutally clear that disobedience would not be tolerated. Once, when Jayme accidentally moved one of the large bins blocking her, Patterson reacted with rage, striking her hard with a curtain rod. The beating intensified her fear of physical punishment. Despite enduring relentless physical and emotional torment, Jayme never surrendered hope. She remained quiet, patiently watching for the right moment to run. Understanding her survival depended on seizing a split-second opportunity during Patterson's carelessness. After 88 days in captivity, Jayme finally saw her chance on January 10, 2019. Patterson had locked her beneath the bed as usual, barricading the space with heavy objects. But this time, when he mentioned he'd be gone for a while, Jayme recognized her moment had arrived. The instant he left, she acted. She shoved aside the heavy bins and weights trapping her, each movement powered by her desperate will to survive. Despite the bitter cold, she bolted outside wearing only a light shirt, leggings, and Patterson's oversized shoes. Her heart hammered as she ran through the freezing air, driven by fierce determination. Jayme's fortune shifted when Jean Nutter spotted her while walking her dog. Recognizing Jayme from news reports, Jean approached her. Gasping and still in shock, Jayme managed to say, "My name is Jayme Closs." They were killed and he took me. Without hesitation, Jean brought Jayme to the nearby home of Kristen and Peter Kasinskas. They immediately called 911. Police arrived quickly. Though Jayme appeared outwardly calm, she was visibly disoriented after her ordeal. After 88 days, Jayme finally felt safe again. Deputies responded rapidly, removing her from the area to ensure her protection. She provided police with detailed information about Patterson and his vehicle, which proved critical in tracking him down. Minutes later, officers spotted Patterson driving near his cabin. Aware Jayme had escaped, he was frantically searching for her. When police pulled him over, Patterson immediately stepped out and confessed, "I did it." His 88-day reign of terror ended with his immediate arrest. The swift law enforcement response, combined with Jayme's courage in providing vital details, led to his capture. The nightmare was over. Hope was restored for everyone who'd followed her story. During interrogation, Patterson admitted to murdering Jayme and Denise Closs and holding Jayme captive. He claimed he first noticed Jayme in September 2018 while driving to work. Watching her board a school bus sparked his obsession, and he decided she was the girl he wanted to take. Though he had no criminal record and no connection to the Closs family, Patterson had carefully planned the abduction. Curiously, he later claimed the crime was spontaneous rather than premeditated, a statement that revealed his chilling, detached mindset. This contradiction puzzled investigators and the community even further, as Patterson had never met Jayme or had any rational motive to target her. The horrific events devastated the small town of Barron, yet the community rallied powerfully around Jayme. Support poured in from local businesses and residents. Hormel Foods, owner of the Jennie-O plant where James and Denise worked, awarded Jayme $25,000 in recognition of her bravery and resilience. This overwhelming solidarity helped Jayme begin healing and offered light amid the darkness. The courage of the young girl who fought for her life became an inspiration not only for Barron but for countless others. On January 14, 2019, Patterson was formally charged with 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and 1 count of kidnapping. Given the severity of the charges, bail was set at $5 million. In March 2019, Patterson sent a letter to a reporter expressing remorse and stating his intention to plead guilty to spare Jayme and her family the trauma of a trial. True to his word, he entered a guilty plea that same month. On May 24, 2019, Patterson was sentenced to life imprisonment without possibility of parole, plus an additional 40 years for kidnapping. A letter written by Jayme was read aloud in court, describing the agony of losing her parents and her struggle to feel safe again. She told Patterson that despite his attempts to control her, he was wrong to believe he owned her. Patterson was transferred to a maximum security prison in New Mexico, where he will spend the remainder of his life behind bars. Meanwhile, Jayme reunited with her family and began the difficult journey of rebuilding her life. She now lives with her aunt and uncle, surrounded by people committed to supporting her recovery. Her aunt, Jennifer Neighborg-Smith, shared that Jayme takes each day as it comes. Though adjusting has been challenging, Jayme finds happiness in activities like dance and school. Jennifer expressed profound gratitude to Gene Nutter, Kristen, and Peter Kaczynskis, and the police for their roles in rescuing Jayme. Jayme is equally thankful to the entire community for their unwavering support. Her story has become a powerful testament to resilience and hope. Inspired by her courage, Jayme has become an advocate for missing and abused children. If you found this case compelling, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We share crime case content regularly. Until next time, stay sharp and stay vigilant.